Hey, English 102. Welcome to week two. We made it through week one. Thank you so much for all of your detailed and insightful posts in our first discussion board. I love to see us get started in a good way. Thank you as well for all of your emails. I think Layla is adorable too. She's a little crazy, but absolutely adorable. So thank you for that. A lot of the email questions that I got last week dealt with the idea of research topics and research questions, which is awesome because that is exactly what we are working on this week. So let's get started with our week two overview. All right, so as always, I am starting right here in our Bright Space page. You'll see that each week on the home page, there's an announcement from me. So your week two announcement overview is there. It contains everything that was also sent to your email. So your link for this video that you're watching and for some other things that we're doing, and then all of our quick links to things in our class. Once you've kind of got this far, I think the best thing to do every week is to start with our class calendar. There's a couple of ways to get there. You can choose to click on the quick link here, or you can go to content, and there's a link there as well that's going to say full class calendar. When you open our class calendar, at the beginning is always the current week. We're on week two. I suggest you use this as a checklist. And I know I said that last week. It lists all the things that you should be doing in this week. So we know that there are like 1, 2, 3 videos that we're going to watch dealing with really defining what academic research is, what a research question is, what it should be and what it shouldn't. Then this third video is about the research gap. And it's kind of, a difficult concept sometimes to wrap your head around. But the idea here is that we don't really want to research something that's been researched 4,000 times by 4,000 different people. We really want to think about what's the missing piece. Sometimes that missing piece is about a location or perspective. So for example, if I wanted to do a topic that's probably pretty mundane and been done a whole bunch of times, but I am just super passionate about it, something like, I don't know, abortion, right? Has that been researched like a million times in a million ways in a different aspect? Sure. It's very difficult to add new things to that conversation unless you think about what is that gap? What hasn't been researched with that particular thing? And then because we don't have, 3 years and a huge budget and the whole Pew Research Center funding us for information, what do I have access to? So if I wanted to do something with a topic like abortion that's been covered in lots of different ways, I might think about that gap. And that gap might be a specific location or population that maybe gets overlooked. Maybe I want to look specifically at how current SWIC students feel about a current piece of abortion legislation. That probably has not been researched. That indicates a gap somewhere where I can present something new and interesting and insightful in some kind of way and absolutely relevant as we are all in some way connected to the institution, Southwestern Illinois College. So I hope that really helps you to kind of think about what you are already thinking about doing with your research question. By the time you look at all three of these videos, you can kind of formulate it better, make sure it's fitting into the format outlined in the videos, and be absolutely ready to go. Because what you're going to do with this research question is then do the secondary source research. What other sources are out there? And that is where we're building our background knowledge. That is the onus, the reason, the absolute hands down point of your annotated bibliography. I want you to do the research. I want you to know what's out there. I want you to know what multiple sources, multiple perspectives over time have said about the topic, because I don't want you to talk about something you haven't bothered to know about yet. So by the time we get to actually writing the paper and formulating a position, you're going to make yourself a little mini expert in the topic, which is the point of this class, understanding the difference between primary and secondary research, and then how to use that in an effective way. Also, we're reading chapter 4 in our text this week. Again, everything ties together. It's about formulating a research question. It's about thinking about your topic and where you want to go with it. So hopefully all of you that had questions about that, by the time we do all of the things for this week, you will feel absolutely 100% comfortable with what you're moving forward with. So to help with that, the other thing that we have this week, of course, is our discussion board. I'm going to course tools and then discussions. We are on week 2, and here we are with research topics. For this discussion, I'm asking that each of you post at least 3 options for what your research project might be. Please hear me. I know some of y'all have already started this whole thing based on some of the emails that I've gotten, right? That you jumped right in with the question. You love that question. You love that policy. You were already interested in this law in the first place, and you really know that you want to do that. Great, right? You still have to do 3. What we know in composition studies is sometimes our first choice is not always our best choice. And if it is our best choice, it's going to hold up even if you find some more interesting ones. So after you come up with 3, these are the things that I want to know in your discussion board. And I've done it post, and I've done an example here for you. I have 3 different questions. They deal with 3 different laws or policies. And so just kind of look at my examples here. I think my favorite one I use the most often is about the SWIC code of conduct here, where it says even if a doctor prescribes it, a student can't have marijuana in their system, even though it's legal, even though we're adults. Doesn't matter. That's not what the SWIC code of conduct says. So again, thinking about what your options are. It doesn't mean you have to change it if you've already started, but I do want you to think about other possibilities. And then as you reply to your fellow classmates, you're going to get even more possibilities so that you know that by the time you get to stick to one, it's the one that you want to do. So that again is our discussion board for this week. Last thing on our calendar, right? So we did all of the things we're going to watch. We did our reading in our chapter, our discussion board post. It's all about our conferences. So if you looked at our course guide, and I know that y'all did because y'all, we're talking about my puppy who I love, Miss Layla, you know that we'll have a couple of different conferences in this class. To sign up for conferences, you have to hit the link here that says Sign Up Genius. It's also included in the email announcement that came to your SWIC email. It's going to take you to a page that looks like this. I know that most of you have probably had some experience with Sign Up Genius. If you scroll down, you'll see their different dates and times listed for you to select just one conference. We'll have another one later, but just one right now. You can pick whatever day and time lines up with your schedule. So you'll see on Wednesday, based on our class survey, a lot of you said Wednesday afternoons were good. So in the English 102, you can pick any of those slots. There are also some evening slots. Some of the slots say that you have to be in 102. Some of them will say you can be in any class. There are a couple of slots that are reserved for a different class, right? So don't take those, but there are plenty of times on here. And if by chance there's not something on here that's going to work for your schedule, send me an email and we'll see what we can add. When you do find one that works, right? So I'm looking at the Wednesday evening one. Let's say I want to say, oh my goodness, yeah, 6 o'clock works for me. I'm going to hit this button that says sign up. After I select it, I then have to press save and continue to put in my name and my email address and then hit the sign up now button. You are not signed up until you do all of those things. It'll send a confirmation email to whatever email address you put in here, and it will send a reminder so that you'll be ready to go when it's time for your conference. Okay, and that's everything for this week. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and just want to say hi, send me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And good luck with week number 2.